Hello YouTube, Conifer here, and a while ago I did a Q&A video for when I got 250 subs, and my friend Black Sheepies asked the question, what was the weirdest dream you've ever had? And I said I'd put that off for another video since it can be a whole video on its own. And here is that video. And also, forgive that I don't have my hair out today. I'm not as obviously femulous memulous as I usually look with my hair out, but since this whole staying at home thing's been happening, I haven't cut my hair. I've done the opposite of what everyone else has been doing. I've just let it grow and it's become all gross. I haven't washed it in a few days, so it's kind of gross, and yeah, I really don't want to have it out right now because I just can't be bothered to wash it, so it's gross. Shut up, Patricia. So, it's probably not the weirdest dream I've ever had, because I've had a heckin' lot of weird ones, but it's just the one that I thought of. I've been putting off doing this video for a while because I couldn't really think of which dream it was that was the weirdest one I've ever had. I've had so many weird ones, and I don't know which one's the weirdest, and also I don't really remember any of them in enough detail to make a whole video out of. But then this one happened this morning, and so I thought, yes, I can make a video out of that. And my friend suggested I could do some drawings to supplement the video in the style of how I used to draw when I was a child, when I was useless at art, and you'll see how crazy it gets, so have a good time in this video, I guess. So, the dream started that I was in my granny's house. I was kind of living there, apparently. I might have been living there, I might have just been staying over. And we had fish, apparently. We don't usually have fish there, but we had fish, and it was time to feed the fish. So I went to the local, pet shop, fish shop, aquarium thing down the street just to, get some fish food. And I was like, should we cheap out or should we get them the good stuff? And I realized these fish haven't eaten in months, so I reckon let's get them the good stuff. So I go into this fish shop, pet shop aquarium thing. The person in the shop takes me into the back of the pet shop where there's a whole bunch of tanks, and there's one big tank at the back with the special, the good stuff. There's just a giant coelacanth from Animal Crossing in the tank at the back. Apparently that's the good fish food. Fish enjoy eating other fish, which is a coelacanth, apparently. So the person at the shop gets the coelacanth out, kills it, and just gives me a section of its flesh. It's black on the outside and then it's orange on the inside. It's like a salmon, I guess, but it's a coelacanth. I take this small chunk of fish, and I'm like, yeah, this can definitely feed all the fish I have. Not little did I realize. You'll see. So I teleport back home. Yeah, I don't know how I got there. I think I just teleported there, so I guess I went back home somehow, even though it was just up the road. My granny and I got to feeding the fish, and the way that we did this was, you know those old landline phones where the phone is on the receiver and it's connected by a wire? The phone has a little thing that it presses down when you hang up. So you press the phone onto the thing and it'll hang it up. So the way we were feeding the fish, we were pressing the food into that, and it was just getting into the phone, and apparently that was how you're supposed to feed the fish. I was kind of questioning it a little bit, but I thought no, this is just how it's supposed to be, I guess, so just keep doing it. So it was we were pushing it in, and it got these purplish bluish bubbles coming out of the phone, and the phone was electrocuting the air, I guess. And then I realized there's another few fish tanks in my room, so I went into my room at my granny's house, which is not my current room. The fish tank was on the bookshelf. I tried to put the fish food into the books. I had to shove it physically into the books to get it to go into the fish tank, and for some reason that wasn't working, of course, so I just lifted the lid of the fish tank, and all the fish came jumping out. It had been 10 months, and for some reason I'd completely forgotten I'd had these fish. They'd just been there. There was thousands of them, because apparently they'd just been breeding like hell. They'd just been multiplying, and there were now thousands of fish in this one tiny little tank. And I felt so bad for like having all these like hundreds and thousands of fish sort of like in there and without food because I didn't even know they existed. It's a common like anxiety dream to dream that you have animals to care for that you forget about. The fish were like coming out like all out of the tank onto the floor. They were like flopping around on the floor in my room. I was like picking them up, putting them into this little wicker basket. I was like, this is too many fish. We can't look after all these fish. I said to my granny, maybe we could give them to the pet shop, either for like them to be sold as pets, or for them, if they're not good enough for pets, they could be like fish food. They could become fish food like the coelacanth, I guess. And I was like, oh, Granny, can we sell them to the fish shop? Because, like, I remember, like, in real life, when I got one of my mice, the pet shop wasn't sure if it was a female or male because it was so little, and they checked, they were pretty sure it was a female, but I had a female mouse at home, so if it happened to be a male, they said I could sell the babies back to the shop if the mice had babies. But the mouse turned out to be a female, so that was probably the real life inspiration for this part. I was like, ooh, can we sell them to the fish shop? Granny was like, yeah, sure. And so we just like put all the fish into like these 3 giant freaking bin bags, like without any water or anything. It was just really stupid. And as being so like careless with them, like I was just shoveling them in and I wasn't giving them any water and they were just like flopping around. Like some of them were just breaking themselves in half, like they were just dying and like just snapping in half, and like I was like, oh, they'll be fine. And it was really fucking scary because all these fish were dying and I wasn't giving a shit, but inside I was like, holy shit, these fish are dying and it's gonna be my fault. We went out of the house and it wasn't Granny anymore. It was, for some reason, it was someone else I know who's much younger and can still drive. We were looking for the car. We were gonna get in the car and like drive to the fish shop up the road, even though it's at the other end of the road, but it was like midnight and it was like, it's a long road, a couple hundred meters, I don't know, probably longer than that. So we were looking for the car, we just couldn't find the car, it was just dark, and so we had to walk with these 3 fucking bin bags, carrying these like fish that are probably dead already, up the road to the fish shop aquarium thing. Somewhere like the objective of the dream just kind of got lost. The lady who was with me, who Granny turned into, she just kind of like left. She just wasn't there anymore. She's gone. Somehow I ended up in a dentist's building. I had an appointment or something, and so I went in there and I was just like sitting in the waiting room. There was this one family just like vibing on the other side of the waiting room. It was like a dad, a mum, and like 5 kids. From a teenage girl was the oldest, and then there was a little girl that was a baby, and there was like a couple of boys, I think. This father was just like hanging out with his little baby daughter, the little one, and so she was like crawling over to me, and I was just like, hi. I usually hate kids, but I'm just like, well, I feel fine at the moment. I can tolerate this one. She's alright. She was just like talking and like in baby talk, she was just like waving at me, and I was like, hi. I waved back. And she was pretty cute. She was adorable. She had like cute little eyes and like little curly hair and like bows and stuff. She like grabbed my finger and I said to the father, "Oh, you have a lovely family. Like she's adorable. Your baby's adorable." And then he just started yelling at me. Oh, you only like my child because she's not your child, and if you had this child as your own and you had to deal with her 24/7, you wouldn't think she's adorable. And he was like rambling on about how like I was apparently a young woman who wanted her own child, and she was like, I like glorifying the idea of having children, which I was not doing. I was just being nice, and I was just like complimenting him and his family. And I actually hate kids, and I have no intention of having them in real life. This dude, I told him like, no, I don't want any kids of my own, I'm just being nice, right? And he just kind of kept on yelling, and he was like kind of being threatening, and he was like, I hate my wife, I hate my children, I hate my baby, I hate my wife because my wife forced me to have a baby. He was like saying like that his wife like wanted the baby. But like, I was like, well, why didn't you leave her after the first 4 children? If she wants 5 babies and you don't want any babies, then that's not a marriage that's gonna work, Buster. one of the nurses, I guess, like pushed him out of the way, like dealt with him. He somehow ended up like in the back. There was a dentist place, like the place where like the dentist surgery was, like at the back. He had the baby with him, and we didn't see this, but everyone knew that he basically ate the child. Like, he literally fucking vored this baby whole. He just like swallowed it. And this nurse, like, this dentist nurse, like, came up to me. She thought I was the receptionist for some reason, acting as if I was a receptionist, and I was like, no, I'm not the receptionist. I'm just waiting for my appointment at whatever time it was. And so she was just like, oh, well, you shouldn't have been talking to him. You shouldn't be talking to strangers, just in case they turn out to be a psychopath who eats their babies. This nurse was just telling me off even though I'm 23. I wasn't being mean to this baby, I was just like vibing, you know? And the one time I tolerate a child, the father happens to be a psychopath who eats babies. So yeah, I eventually get into my appointment, just like a clean and a checkup kind of thing, kind of 6-monthly deal. There's like a poster on the wall, and there's like a screen next to the dentist chair, and the poster was some kind of like danger signs, like warning signs kind of thing. There were like 7 stages, like it was like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, dark blue, and then purple. The furthest to the right was the highest danger, and the one to the left was the least danger. I don't remember what was on each of them, but I remember that the green one, it was like a lime green, and it had the warning sign was like, if the water's too hot, then it's dangerous, or something like that, I don't know. And then number 6 was like, if you've got a toothache, then that's like the second most dangerous thing. And then the 7th one, which was like all the way at the end of the scale, was like, if your leg is paralyzed, or like, if you can't feel your leg, or it's like something like that, then that's the most dangerous like sign, I guess. I don't know what that was all about. And so the dentist got me to like fill in this like touchscreen tablet thing. It had some kind of graph about comparing like how hard you should push the toothbrush depending on the patient's age. And they got me to like complete it, like put the dots in place and stuff. I did that. They brushed my teeth according to where I put myself on this thing. They were like brushing my teeth, but I think I put the graph too low, like the pressure too low. That he was like barely touching my teeth with the toothbrush. And so I was like, you're gonna have to press harder than that, because it won't work otherwise. So he cleaned my teeth, and it was all done. My teeth were done, but like I was just like trapped in there. It was also somehow like the same. Like, I'd been teleported back to my granny's house, but it was like the shower. So I was locked in there because it was also some combination of like the back dentist room and my granny's shower. And you remember the fish? Well, I still had the fish. Like, the fish was still fucking there. Like, I'd been carrying around these like 3 bin bags. I think I'd forgotten about them when I was in the dentist room, but then I just kind of had them again. And the fish, yep, the fish are back. And I was trying to get out with the fish and trying to, I guess, get to the fish shop, aquarium, pet shop thing. I was thinking of the poster that was in the dentist's room, and of like the danger signs, and apparently the one with the hot water was the important one here. And so I turned the hot water on. It like opened the tap to be like a 5-inch wide like hole in the shower wall that like you could escape through, I guess, even though it was only 5 inches wide, and I'm like a human sized. I got my trusty old bin bags full of fish. I just like shoved them through. They were probably dead by now. I shoved them through the hole in the wall, and I guess I escaped. I don't know. And that's all I remember from that dream. I told this to a bunch of my friends in VC. They were just like horrified. And it was the most cursed and funniest thing. So yeah, that was my weird dream. Click like if you like the video. Don't forget to comment what your favorite part was, or what kind of video I should do next. And if anyone wants to interpret it, please tell me what you think it means. And subscribe to see more shit like whatever this is. Thank you for watching. This has been my crazy dream, and I'm gonna go now. Bye!